What's up, everybody? Ridley Scott's Napoleon is here, and boy, is it a good one. Fair warning, I'm no historian, and I certainly didn't pay attention in history class, but I don't think that changed anything for my personal experience, so without further delay, let's get into the movie. Right off the bat, I'm gonna get the cons out of the way. Oh, wait. For this movie, it is only a singular con. Yeah, you heard that right. One singular con. I freaking love this movie. But the one thing I do want to say that kind of bothered me and took me out of the movie was the editing sometimes. There were probably like 5 to 10 scenes I want to say where the transitions were really rough. Like I definitely feel that Ridley Scott's 4 hour cut will flow smoother because some scenes just end too soon or feel rushed throughout. So while I enjoyed this 2.5 hour cut, I'm stoked for the 4 hour cut coming to Apple TV Plus, and that's all I have to complain about. So let's go on and celebrate the greatness of this movie. Starting off the pro section, I want to talk about the score of the movie. It was done by Martin Phipps, who has done tons of great work on period pieces throughout his career. It was a swollen atmosphere with his work behind Ridley Scott's, and it truly made for a great experience. Then there's the set pieces and locations they found to film at. I mean, the scale of this movie was truly wild. Like, I'll talk about the action in the battles in just a bit here, but just the spectacle of them alone was an automatic 10 out of 10 for me personally. Not to mention the masterfully put together castles and homes of Napoleon and Josephine. There was actually a scene with the two after their divorce that reminded me of those scenes with Oppie and Einstein by the pond in Oppenheimer, and that is an incredible club to be in. It's not that it's some bright spectacle, but it's the subtle and honestly, you know, I don't mean this negatively, but nothingness of the location that just draws you into the scene. Another thing that really drew me in was the opening scene of the movie, as it's probably one of my favorite opening scenes of the year in any movie, and definitely one of my favorite scenes in this movie because it wasted absolutely no time getting off the ground and running. And actually, perfect timing because it just played in the trailer I have on here as I was talking about it, so I'm not going to go over it totally, but that's part what you just saw of Napoleon and all the firing at the castle, that's part of that great opening scene. But this movie doesn't work without the performances throughout, and while I don't think there was one I didn't like, there were four that really stood out and wowed me. First off is Ben Miles, who didn't have a ton of screen time, but he made the absolute most of what he did have and was phenomenal. Then there's John Hollingworth, who had a little more action than Ben Miles, but was absolutely incredible during the final battle of the movie, as well as throughout the movie, obviously, but he shined in that final battle. And of course, Joaquin Phoenix was just flawless as Napoleon. He portrayed the man child so well, but also just had so much range in this one singular role. You have the ignorant and arrogant lifestyle that's man child, the ridiculous simping for Josephine, which was both disturbing and hilarious, and the passionate general on the battlefield. He was great. Yet, my favorite performance of the movie, honest to God, was Vanessa Kirby. She was stellar throughout, but I really wish she'd had more to do in the final hour or so because she kind of gets the short end of the stick there towards the end. And, you know, to be fair, Josephine does die in that portion of the movie, but like I'm talking about before that. I would have loved to see more of her before that, after the divorce, and I hope it's in there in Ridley Scott's director's cut. And finally, those battle scenes. I mean, I just don't know what to say about them. I expected a ton from Ridley Scott considering some of the work he's done in this arena with large scale fights, but this absolutely blew me away. There were three in particular that were really good. The first being the one in Egypt, which I know some nerdy historians were like, actually, that didn't happen. But guess what? I do not care. It was so damn cool, and I sure as hell didn't pay attention in history class, so who am I to say Napoleon didn't actually do it? Second is the battle on the iced over lake, which you can see in the trailers. This is another one where the scene is brilliantly pale, then explodes into color when the cannons lay fire on the opponent. And finally, the final battle was just amazing. Right when the movie was going to lose me after a rough transition, Ridley Scott delivers a battle of such beauty and scale, I was left wanting another hour of the movie. Like the way you follow the cannonballs and then zoom all the way out for a bird's eye view, then circle the enemy with the French soldiers. I mean, I was just blown away by Scott's work. And so that'll do it for my review of Napoleon. As you can tell, I really love this movie, and as of right now, it's at number 3 on my rankings for the year at a 9 out of 10 behind Oppenheimer and Across the Spider-Verse, but that may just change with the 4-hour cut. As always, though, I want to know what you guys thought of the movie, so let me know your thoughts and your rating down in the comments below and make sure you have a great day.